Yeah, I just think the biggest thing was that, like, it helped me uncenter my worldview, as if that the experiences that I have are completely universal, or that they like that the solutions to my problems apply to everyone else's lives. Because I'm projecting my own life experiences onto every other person who might live in our country. And I think it's important to understand that, like, you might be able to have like understand that, like, obviously nobody lives the same life as you. Like everyone's different, but to have like a very deep understanding, like see it really in your face, to get it thrusted upon you, to hold a World War II vets, uniform in my hands, like that sort of example set in front of you, it really gives you the sense that
it does.
There's so many people in this world, like, and none of them have had any of the same experiences as you. There's a lot of similarities in a lot of cases, but none of them have the same experience as you.
But I really want everyone to understand that we're all people. We're all people. We're definitely all gonna have different types of experiences within life, but I feel like we should all be grown and mature enough to understand, respect, and love, regardless of someone's experiences. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know what someone's going through. So I mean, like
those things go hand in hand.
You know what I'm saying? But it's always good to show love and spread joy and encouragement, especially amongst, your peers, you know what I'm saying? Or especially wherever you go, because you never know what someone or that something that you're in the midst of, has been through, or, the history behind it, you feel me?
Yeah. Those two things definitely work hand in hand. And I think honestly, the one that you touched on is more important to me, is that everybody has different life experiences. Thus, the same solutions won't apply to their problems, and in the sense that you can't project the answers that you have in your head to other people with a 100% certainty that they'll work.
But then it's always good to show love, and give joy, regardless of what someone else is going through.
The other side of that coin is that everyone is no matter what experience you've had, everyone is very similar. Everyone is still fairly similar to each other in terms of people being people. We're all motivated by the same things, and we all feel the same emotions. We all have eyes, ears, legs, and mouths for the most part.
The energy of those emotions may be a little different. We all go through the emotions. And I feel like we also, you know what I'm saying? Our experiences may be different. We may not experience the same thing that another person is experiencing. But yet again, we're still going through something called an experiences. And that's just life, you feel me? But I feel like it's how we move forward toward that. It's how we have our mindset regardless of what type of experience we had, regardless if it's traumatic or if it was an enjoyable moment. You take that part of it, you apply it to your life, and you know what I'm saying? You learn a lesson from everything you go through on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. I came up with this analogy recently where I got two pieces of white paper out. We'll just imagine that I had two pieces of white paper out. And on one of those pieces of paper I left it completely blank. And then on the other one, I took a Sharpie and I just drew like a small dot on that piece of paper. And then I held up these two pieces of paper. Like, if I told you, like, how are these two pieces of paper different? You would say, one has this dot on it that's covering this, small part of the page. And then it's such a natural thing to do, like natural as in it's a very like tribal and very basic inclination of like us as human beings to look at to really focus on that, dark speck on that piece of paper, when I think a much more human trait, and something that I think we could something that I think that we as people are uniquely allowed to do, is to look at that entire piece of paper and say that, everything about these two pieces of paper are identical except for that small dot.
And at the end of the day, it's still a piece of paper.
Yeah, and it's still 99% the same thing as one another.
Thank you.
And I think that really everybody in this world is a piece of paper, a blank piece of paper with a small dot placed anywhere on the page they're all different from each other. Like, imagine if you gave everybody in the world a piece of paper and you give them a pen and you said place a dot somewhere on the paper. Right. Everybody in the world could place a dot somewhere on the paper completely different from one another.
Thank you.
And that kind of represents the difference that every person has, the uniqueness that everyone carries with them. But that comes with the understanding that it's sort of like the tip of the iceberg kind of thing, where the vast majority of things, the things that are not at the surface level, so the things that are harder to focus on. The things that are harder to focus on, the 99% of me, you, and everyone else, is all very identical to each other.
Thank you.
It's just the things that are easiest to see, like each other's skin tones, each other's mannerisms and styles and clothing. Those are the easiest things to identify from one another, and those are the things that we focus on. We focus on what, like, your dot is in a different place than my dot, or you have a dot and I don't have a dot. It's a very Starbelly Sneetches kind of thing. You remember that Starbelly Sneetches?
Yeah, but it's ridiculous because when I see you, I see Adam.
I see TJ.
Hello. Adam's a person, I'm a person.
Yeah.
we come from different areas, but we're still people.
Yeah, me and TJ come from completely different places. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about how he lived his life. He doesn't know anything about how I live my life.
Right. But at the end of the day, we've come
and we
together.
don't agree on a lot of things.
We don't. But guess what we do? We agree to disagree.
Yeah.
We take our disagreements.
I like to think that we agree that there's no difference that is worth that is more important than like friendship.
Thank you.
Just forget the word. Just like being cohesive. It's just there's
cohesive together. But I feel like at the end of the day, friendship.
Are you okay?
No, I lost my slide.
How'd you lose your slide?
Oh no, I took it off.
Okay.
I lost it, but I got it now, so now I'm back together. But friendship is such a pillar, especially when you take the word into such a seriousness, because when I refer to mass majority of individuals that I have spoken to at Wheeler, I always refer to them as my acquaintance, or I call them by a name. You know what I'm saying? The name that I know them by. But when speaking on or including you, Parsa, you know what I'm saying? I'll be like, friends. You know what I'm saying? And that is such a statement, because that is someone that you truly have to be in accord with. Mm-hmm. And I won't say in 100% accord, but in some type of accord with, because if we don't have nothing that we like in one another, you know what I'm saying, there's no reason for us to be cool. But then you also can apply how opposites attract. We have different perspectives on everything, you know what I'm saying? But we know how to come together and look at it from one another's perspective, or to pick up on what the other person is putting down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So having that type of compromise and that type of mindset is really something impeccable and really important to have within a friendship. You know what I'm saying? Even if you both don't necessarily agree on everything, but having the mindset of, okay, I can compromise with my homeboy.
Yeah.
Because we let all differences go, and we just learn to be cohesive, calm, and collective with one another.
Having a very shallow separation of having a very shallow threshold of separation where it's very easy for you to identify people as like people you can fuck with and people you can't fuck with. Where and it's like a very shallow thing. And like it doesn't have to be like just like I only like really hang out with people in my race or in my like thing. Just like no. I think the biggest thing is ideologically. If you have a very low threshold for understanding of only people within the same like who believe the same things as you, who think the same way as you, it's a very inefficient thing, because you like the best things come when you have multiple different people with multiple different ways of thinking and multiple different approaches to the things. Like, and I'm not saying it's an easy thing to do.
It's not.
When me, you, and Parson and Jack are all talking about like things to do for the show, and like none of like it's very hard for us to like fully agree on something. I'm always like one of you will say something and I always have to I always look at it and I'm like, I don't know about that, but then like I have to understand that the best things are birthed from a union of ideologies.
So you have to talk about it. You have to go through some of the motion until you get to that final step or that final okay. But it's worth it, because at that point you're going through and you're understanding so many of the different perspectives, and you're taking all in so many of the different areas of knowledge or the areas of experience that an individual would have, like how, like you said, me, you, Jack, Parsa, we would all have different, background knowledge and experiences or ways of handling things. Yeah. But it's amazing that how we can sit in one accord and take that in and then apply it. And then that's how we come up with such a creative aspect of things that we do with the show, or things that we're going to switch up.
At least we try to.
Yeah, and I feel like we do a hell of a good job. I'm gonna be cocky as hell about that. We do a hell of a good job.
Especially Parsa, man. That man ticks me off sometimes. Well, just he doesn't tick me off. He just, some of the things he says are like, he can't make a suggestion without me going like, really? Are we sure?
Like, are you sure you want to take these steps?
Over the almost year that we've been doing this, I have trusted him.
Yes.
Look, I've just given up trust. I've trusted him enough to allow these sorts of things to happen, and yes. I mean, it's always worked out. You know, I've never been disappointed.
And that is such. I feel like that's something to have. What I'm talking about is something so important to have within all forms of relationships with, you know, parents, relationships with your spouse or significant other. You know what I'm saying? It's always good to have. I don't want to say communication because, yet again, communication can fail in aspects. And sometimes communication is not the key to all things, but understanding, that is the key. That is a key. Even if you don't agree with certain things, but understanding another person's perspective and genuinely listening and hearing them out. And then, you know, just breaking it down, depicting what's going on, being cohesive, being calm, collective, and really, you know, taking in what someone's saying and having that type of level of understanding with them. I feel like that is more important in any type of friendship or relationship that you're going through, is just to sit, relax, take it all in, and put yourself in another person's shoes.